Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the West Coast Pop Tier List. I'm Eric, joined, of course, by Zach. How you doing, Zach?
I am good. I got my Marvel Encyclopedia by my side, ready to go.
And joined by, we don't know yet because the episode hasn't been released yet. If he's the champion yet, we don't know. Noc, how you doing?
I'm all right. Just hoping that belt finds its way home.
Oh, man. Today, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man and his Rogues Gallery. We've got 24 villains here, ranging from Alistair Smythe, the Spider Slayer, all the way down to Vulture. We've purposely left off villains like Moreland, Black Cat, villains who are in between. They're not really evil, they're good, they're just there. But we're going to go down the list, and we're going to go from arch enemy all the way down to annoying. Sound good to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
I do have one caveat I want for this tier list. Normally we do only one person in the top list, but personally I don't think Spider-Man has one particular villain. I think he has three. So I say no, we don't need to have just one person in that one this time. Does that sound good?
Let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. We start things off. Very first one, Alistair Smythe, aka the Spider Slayer. Zach, do you know anything about Alistair Smythe?
I know a little. So I know when he was like flesh colored with the things coming out of his shoulders. So that's like the version of him that I used to have as a kid. So on that, I don't know too much about Alistair.
So I've never seen that because I read the Amazing Spider-Man run, and in that he's just a normal rich guy who builds robots to kill Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think along with Jonah Jameson, like Jameson funds it.
Yeah.
So I remember reading it. It never works. Obviously, he never slays Spider-Man. So for that, I'm thinking maybe Public Menace, maybe like a high Public Menace.
Yeah. I don't know. He's borderline villain for me only because, like you said, he never catches Spider-Man. Him and Jim and Justin work together. He tries to catch him. Then he ends up getting obsessed and wants to kill him. But I think later on, he actually kills one of Jameson's wives.
Oh boy.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So for that, I might put him like it's borderline Public Menace villain. I don't think he's done much though. I know him from the Spider-Man animated series, being like the right hand to Kingpin for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's not really one of my favorites.
Yeah, like whenever a writer, like if they dedicate him to being a main villain, he can be bad, but
Yeah.
it's not really done that much nowadays. I don't know. Where would you put him, Zach?
I'd almost put him at Public Menace. I feel like he's more of a villain to like in Spider-Man Homecoming, who Vulture's character was before he became the Vulture, and they had to clean up after the superheroes. I feel like that's who he's a villain for.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, straight into Public Menace.
And first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 19 in 1985.
Oh, okay.
And his eyes are brown, in case you want to know. Real encyclopedia.
Very nice. Very jealous of that encyclopedia. All right. I think you have the control, Zach, so you're going to have to...
He's going Public Menace?
Public Menace,
Yeah.
as Jonah would call him. Next up, Cletus Cassidy, right? That's his name. Yeah. I don't know why I was going to say Orange Cassidy. I got wrestling in my brain tonight.
I almost said Cassius Clay.
Yeah. But we all know him as Carnage, a sick serial killer. Noc, you got any memories of Carnage?
Yeah, I was always deeply disturbed by his image as a kid. I watched him like in the animated series and a few other things. Comics, read about him a lot. I'll put him, honestly, I'll just put him villain for me. I know he's like super powerful. I know he's super crazy. Actually, no, is he stronger than Venom?
So when I remember reading, I think the first time Venom and Spider-Man teamed up was because of Carnage, because he could beat them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta put him super villain. He's a strong dude.
And I feel like whenever I read about him, his issues were always like you were always afraid when he was out because you knew it was going to be a bloodbath. He was going to kill whoever was in his just in front of him.
Yeah,
so he's something special.
Yeah, I grew up with Maximum Carnage, which is just it's a wild ride. That's what it is. Yeah, I did have Spider-Man and Venom team up. I still have the red cartridge Super Nintendo game of that too. I'm very fond of this
Nice.
character. I am not fond of Woody Harrelson's hair as him at the end.
I blocked that out of memory.
That is something else.
Yeah.
I would say supervillain though. I mean, this guy's a murderer. First
Yeah.
appearance in Amazing Spider-Man 244 in February 1991. This guy was built to be that a little more serious threat that the 90s tried to create, even with Bane and some other characters. So I do believe they stick to the story with him being such a threat today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Supervillain. And I think Spider-Man was truly afraid of when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just knew die, and couldn't do anything to stop it.
Right.
Next up, we've got someone who is far, far from Carnage, the Chameleon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about this one because he has the potential to do bad things, but I mean, a straight up fight, he's not going to do anything.
No.
Do either of you have anything that like redeems him or gives him any?
I'm trying to think, man. He did something good in one of those shows, didn't he? He was a really good villain in one of them.
I'm gonna bring up the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon a lot because I think that's my favorite Spider-Man.
Okay,
show.
that might be the one I'm thinking of.
He helps like with the whole Green Goblin reveal because you're tricked like, oh, it's not Norman because he was at this place. Nope, that was Chameleon. So he can help. He's a good plot device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think annoying.
I'll go with that.
I'll try to throw some things out there to redeem him. I know he's what's it say here? He's half brothers with Craven the Hunter. Eventually he learns how to change his voice like Mystique. He learned it from her. But damn, that's about it.
After the original Craven committed suicide, the Chameleon lost his sanity and jumped from a bridge. However, he turned up alive in an insane asylum and resumed his criminal career. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man #1, March 1963. I still say annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. Oh wow, I was gonna go a bad guy, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's
because he technically is like an assassin, isn't he?
Oh, I thought he was more like what's the word I'm looking for? Espionage, like
okay
for businesses. Yeah, there's a word for it that I'm blanking out. Whatever. But it's crazy. Like a lot of, like I had memory of Vulture being the first villain that Spider-Man fought, but
yeah,
if we don't count Uncle Ben's killer, it's Chameleon.
Yeah, he was a mercenary spy.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right, he's down in the annoying column.
He's a hell of a lineage. It says he's the son of Red Skull too.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
His parents need to put his ass in check on how to be a villain.
Right?
It's not my kid. I don't know. Claim to that.
This is like no offense to Curtis Axel. That's like Mr. Perfect being your dad, and this is where you're at.
To anyone who might comment, I apologize if he's like your favorite villain. I never really connected with him. I never really felt fear or anything like that.
Anyone who looks at a Chameleon is like, that's my favorite villain. They got some weird taste.
Yeah. I think I've seen it done better. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we go with one of, I think, top 3, Doc Ock. This man is just brilliant. Do you guys have any memories or anything that you want to throw in there about him?
The biggest thing is actually kind of recent. I'm really down on recent comics a lot just because they keep rebooting and rebooting. Hello, DC again coming up. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man #3, July 1963. The Superior Spider-Man. If you have not heard of this storyline, please check it out. You can get it in trade paperback form. It is such a cool modern storytelling with Doc Ock taking the body of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I hated that. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, what? Like Spider-Man loses to Doc Ock and how he's gone. I hated it, but after going through it, it's really worth it. It's a good read.
What's their? Do they have an initial relationship at all in that comic, or are they just hero villain? Or is anything before that, like Peter and Octavius?
So without going into spoilers for anyone who wants to read it, basically Doc Ock is about to die. So he comes up with a machine that like lets them swap brains or rewrites their brains to the other one.
Wow.
And it's like it's short, like at the end of the first issue, Peter's too late to swap back and he dies in Doc Ock's body.
Wow. Yeah, that's next level villainy right there.
Yeah. The ending is great too. I'm not gonna say what it is, but basically, but at the end, we all know Peter gets back his body. Doc Ock ends up respecting Peter, and even without that run, Doc Ock has always been a big foil for Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's the guy, man. I mean, a member of the Sinister Six. I enjoyed him in the Spider-Man game that just came out. All the animated series he's in, he's great. He's a real threat, and like he has that fame to him too. So I like Doc Ock a lot.
Oh yeah. Did you guys ever read or hear about the who was it? 1990s James Cameron, maybe. It was a big director, got hired to write a Spider-Man movie, and they wouldn't pay him until he delivered a script. So he just bullshitted like the worst script ever. And in it, Doc Ock is the villain. And for some reason, he keeps going back and forth between being called Spider-Man. He's like, I'm the real Spider-Man. And it's the worst script ever. I recommend look it up on YouTube.
I'll check that out.
But I vote for Arch Enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got another Sinister Six member, Electro. I don't really have any strong memories with him. Do you guys have anything about anything great that he's done?
Okay, so I'll talk to you. Oh, go ahead. You can
go ahead. All I had to say was just like mentally he can like form electricity, like he can like use his whips and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. It's just I don't know. I probably missed a lot of good Electro stories. So you can go ahead now.
I was going to ask you a quick question, Eric. He was in Spectacular Spider-Man, right?
He was,
but he was a friend though, right, or something like that.
So he started out as like a lab technician.
Yeah.
And then he found to have eels and got the powers. And I'm mad because like his life was ruined. Which I think that's the most relatable one. I think that one was really great. And
because I think Spider-Man was trying to redeem him the whole time, and then he just kept falling more into darkness.
Yeah, because it was like a small lesson for Peter, because Peter attacks him like on sight.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, like, wow, I'm so sorry. I misjudged you. And he kind of went to the dark side because of Peter. What I really like about Electro is that Peter can't just punch him in most like fights. Like he has to be smart. He can't just touch him. He can't web him.
Yeah.
He usually has to use his brain to beat him.
He had his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 9, February 1964. At first, Electro robbed Jonah Jameson, and so he thought Electro was Spider-Man to save Grace. Spider-Man beat Electro using a stream of water to prove that he was not Electro.
Jameson just wants to blame everything.
Yeah, everyone, man.
Oh, man.
The bad weather. GameStop stocks, everything's cheating. Spider-Man.
Oh man. I'd say villain. I'll put him in villain above Smite.
Yeah, there's a storyline actually where, speaking of Smite, he's Red Skull's son too.
I mean, what? I mean,
no. There's a certain one, not the Max Dillon one, I would assume, but
who is the mom? Because apparently there's a train race.
I ain't Red Skull had all this time.
Neither did I, man. I thought
this is a Maury episode. Have the Rogues Gallery up there, and Maury with a manila envelope.
Oh man, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
I think he's a strong villain for me.
Yeah,
I think so too, and especially because every time he's in a video game, it's always a fun battle.
That's true. Yeah,
that is true. Actually, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, he's a fun villain. Oh man. All right. Next up, not one of the superpowered villains. You've got Hammerhead. Throwback to the classic gangster. He has a metal plate in his skull. That's all he's special about. Where's he go?
He's an entry level villain. He's not taking over the world. He's not really taking more than a few hours out of your time in the day. There is one storyline where he gets a mechanical suit, like every other villain without powers, and he's a little stronger then. But I'll just put him as bad guy. He's still nothing crazy.
Yeah, I agree. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, number 113, October 1972. He is, like you said, Eric, a throwback. I mean, he's a step away from being a Dick Tracy character.
Yeah. I purposely didn't put Silvermane on here because we had Hammerhead. Like they're kind of the same area.
Mhm.
But yeah, he in Spectacular Spider-Man, all he was the second hand to Tombstone. That's
Yeah.
He's a lieutenant at best. So I'll agree, bad guy.
I guess they're watching the Spectacular Spider-Man. See, I'm like about halfway through of the 90s Spider-Man animated show, so I'll jump on that one next.
It's quick too. It's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really good.
They perfectly balance Peter and Spider-Man's life. Like Peter Parker's life is just as entertaining as Spider-Man's.
Yeah. You get more Gwen Stacy and more different other people too, which I like.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got the Hot Goblin. There have been at least 3, I believe. But I don't care. We're just gonna look at as a whole because do you guys have any memories of the Hobgoblin?
I remember as a kid I was confused just because they had the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, it was a Demogoblin.
Demogoblin.
Yeah. Like so it's nice going back and figuring out why these characters become those characters, and I guess we're gonna possibly see one become that in the next Spider-Man movie.
That would be cool.
If you know who one of the 3 Green Goblin one of the Hobgoblins is.
Right. Yeah, I if I remember correctly, the first one was a professor at Peter's school who, and it's gone. I can't remember his origin. But Goblin Mania was going crazy. Everyone loved the Green Goblin, so they had the Hobgoblin next up. Where would you put him, Zach?
I'd put him as a villain. So it's like an improved version of the Green Goblin formula, but I don't think he's as sinister as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't read that many of his stories.
I mean, in his stories, he was an interesting villain. It just, I personally preferred the Green Goblin. When he showed up, I was like, let's go back to Green. But I'll agree with that. I could put him in villain. How about you, Noc?
I'm trying to see the different ones here. I know I mainly know him from the original Spider-Man series. I remember him being very aggressive, though, and I know there's one of the Hobgoblins was like a military background.
Yeah, I think one of them was like a pilot or something.
Yeah, I don't think I can put him on Electro. Actually, I might put him next to Electro and villain. If it was me,
I think I'd put him above Electro just because I don't know what Electro's overall goal was. I think he just wanted money.
Yeah,
but Hobgoblin he had some kind of plan. He just hated Spider-Man. As most people in this world for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Put him a little above Electro.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Hydro Man. Do you guys know how he got his powers?
No.
He fell in a tub of water.
that is very close. He was a dock worker, and somehow I don't know if Spider-Man was fighting someone, but Spider-Man knocked him over the edge into the water, and it was like a engine or a nuclear reactor or something was in the water at the same time, and it changed him. So his first thing was to go out and seek revenge against Spider-Man.
Of course.
Kind of they kind of book him like a downgrade Sandman sometimes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Like his second story is literally going after a girl who Sandman's dating, and they fight over her, and then they fuse together into some kind of mud creature that's not intelligent, and they get put into a sideshow. So his story is not great.
Yeah, he might be in the annoying side for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what would you do? I'd get a job at a water park and be the spectacle there.
Right.
I feel like his powers are just something you'd rather like maybe have just for fun. But yeah, first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man 2/22, January 1981. That kind of sounds like an 80s version of a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Annoying. What a shame. Next up, maybe he's not a villain, but he has to be on this list somewhere. Jonah Jameson. Go ahead, Doc.
Well, if you think about it, he controls the press, man. So if he's spreading all these lies about Spider-Man, that's kind of villainous in a different way. He's hilarious in all incarnations, though. Does he ever actually start trusting Spider-Man in any way?
I'm not sure.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I can't remember what was his reaction in Civil War when he found out Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
For that little.
I think he was furious that Spider-Man was like right under his nose.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He first appeared March 1963 in Amazing Spider-Man #1. His son John was tragically killed by a masked mugger, sparking a lifelong distrust of mask wearers. So there is why he hates Spidey.
Ooh. I can't remember if it was Amazing Spider-Man 2 or 20. It was one of the early ones, but he has this little like private moment where he feels that he hates Spider-Man because he's jealous of him, because he wishes he could be as good without any strings attached to Spider-Man. But while he's he wishes he was good, how many villains on this list did he actually create? He created Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
He funded Alistair Smythe.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was there? I want to say Rhino, but I'm not too sure. I don't think so. Point is, he does some bad things. Where would you put him, Zach?
Honestly, I'm debating villain or super villain. Like this guy is probably the biggest pain in the ass for Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah. I would be against super villain. Doesn't he get engaged to Aunt May at one point?
Oh, I hope not. Please tell me that's a lie.
Yeah, I think I'll go super villain. How about you, Doc?
I think he might be in a super villain position, man. He's very powerful, in like the media aspect. Yeah, and his hate for Spider-Man is just hilarious. But
Spider-Man is always just like so pissed.
Yes.
And then the fact that he does fund some stuff to help the supervillains. I gotta say supervillain for him.
Yeah.
I know he's not gonna like that slander. He might try to sue me, but it's the truth.
Actually, I'm gonna change. I think he goes to arch enemy now. I think about it, since we can have more than one. Just because he's so ingrained in that Spider-Man story. Like you can't do anything Spider-Man without J. Jonah Jameson.
No.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's like the one you can't like arrest or kill. So you're stuck with him constantly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like he could probably push for like an anti-Spider-Man law.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine if he ran for mayor. What do you do?
Oh gosh. Oh man.
You guys are playing the Miles Morales game. How is he in there with having another Spider-Man in town?
He hates it. He absolutely hates it. It's he keeps referring to it as what, Spider-Man Jr.? Is that what it is, Doc?
Yeah, and every little thing he does, Miles Morales does, Jameson's on his ass, blaming him for every little thing.
So when you guys played, you're just like, J. Jonah Jameson's a racist. He hates Black Spider-Man.
Like you're just sitting there swinging around like throughout the city, and he has his like what is it, like his podcasting or something?
Yeah,
He's on the radio. Yeah, and he has a podcast, and like he's just ripping you the whole time, man.
And doesn't Miles make like a point? Like, why does Peter like key his suits in to hear this automatically?
Yeah, exactly. He switches another podcast in the game.
But strangely enough, I get why he does it. It's entertaining. I will let a crime happen just so I can listen to Jonah.
Yeah, like I think one of the missions, it might have been one of the Spider-Man games, like you put a fire out in a burning building, and he's complaining about like a broken window or something on the podcast the next day, and saying how you're working for like whatever terrorist group.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, he spins so much stuff that the writing's really well done.
He does.
I mean, I'm fine putting him in Arch Enemy if that's how it's going.
Yeah, let's put him here for now, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, I love you, Jonah. Next up, we've got the Jackal. Zach, do you remember the Jackal at all?
No, I don't.
How about you, Noc?
Neither do I, man. I don't think I've seen this one.
If I said Clone Saga, would that bring back any memories?
Oh my God, yeah, okay.
So basically, this was him. If you don't count Norman Osborn, solely responsible for the Clone Saga. He cloned a shit ton of Gwen Stacy's, a shit ton of himself, the Peter Parkers, because he blamed Spider-Man for letting Gwen Stacy die. And
jeez,
he played such an important part in such a bad storyline.
That was awful. I will just say, I have all my old comics from a kid. After reading that as a kid, I threw them out.
Oh boy. Oh man.
I hated that. I was so pissed with the Clone Saga.
It was bad. I mean, the false realization that Ben Reilly is the real Peter Parker, that was such an insult. That was such a middle finger.
And that suit, it was like he took a crop top like Fruit of the Loom shirt and like just put it over like some leotard. Like, that's lazy. At least when Azrael became Batman, they kind of made a nice suit.
Right. Yeah. I don't think so. Jackal's entire plan failed because he thought I think they retconned this because of such a bad story, but he thought he knew who the real Peter Parker was, but Norman Osborn tricked him. So his whole plan just fell apart. Like it was doomed to fail from the start. He didn't do any real damage besides a bunch of Gwen Stacy's running around. I would say annoying.
I will too for that damn storyline. First,
I'm reading about him. It looks like he's just killing people though.
Okay, so I know he turns himself into an actual Jackal at one point for some weird reason. I don't remember him killing. That's something. Even I still say annoying.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't know about him, so
okay.
Good. Just don't read about him. All right. Next up, the Kingpin of Crime. I almost consider more of a Daredevil villain, but he was there a lot for Spider-Man in the beginning. Zach, what was your encyclopedia say about this man?
He has a full page. So just so you know, usually on pages there's about 6 different people on a page. Also, J. Jonah had a full page too, so I think we put him in the right spot. Yeah. I like this guy. He is a super villain to me. Like you said, you think of Daredevil at first when you think of Kingpin. He spans more of the Marvel universe than I ever realized every time I see a different story of his come up. Seriously. I'm a big fan of this character just because of how cool he is, especially in the animated Spider-Man, but also how powerful they made him. He's very cartoony in his looks and comic booky, but that goes back to, when he was first in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, number 50, July 1967. He looks like a 60s character, and I dig him.
Yeah, I think for me, in every interpretation I've seen him, I love this character as a villain. Every Spider-Man series, the Daredevil TV show, the Spider-Man movie, he's been really good, and he's a true villain. He's powerful. He has a lot of influence. Mm-hmm. So like everything that Hammerhead does, like the underground stuff, that influence, Kingpin has that and more. Do you guys go with the storyline that he actually has like super strength, like he can like pretty much break your bones if he grabs you?
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm fine without it. I liked how he was done on the TV show Daredevil, but I that's the kind of stuff I grew up reading, so I'm just used to it.
Yeah. I could take it either way. But man, that Daredevil performance was something great. I love that. That
Magical.
Kingpin. That was awesome. So you said supervillain, Zach?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go supervillain too, but do you think he's one of those villains that will require that does require at times a superhero team up?
It depends if he hires other villains, which he does a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. He's like a master plan with everything. He connects with all these other villains and stuff. Like he might be arch enemy for me. He's borderline arch enemy. I don't know if he's there, but he's borderline.
I'll go supervillain. If we're talking Daredevil, I give him arch enemy just for ruining his life.
That's true. Yeah, I think arch enemy might need that special connection with Peter Parker or Spider-Man to say to be in that level.
But for someone with no powers, he's damn good. He's up there.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Craven the Hunter, raised in Mother Russia, taught by Mother Africa. Do you guys have any good memories of Craven?
I always thought he was like really like the outfit was weird even as a kid growing up, but it's just like the more I read about him and just the fact that like he has hunted and killed everything he can think of. So his last thing he wants to do is or maybe not his last, but he wants to kill Spider-Man next. I thought that was such a cool thing. Like, all right, I need this as the ultimate challenge. I thought that was a cool take on a villain for Spidey.
I wish I could remember what the comic was actually called, or maybe it was like a run in one of the other comics, but there was one where he actually kind of achieves his wish, where he drugs Spider-Man and puts him into a coma, buries him alive, and then takes over as Spider-Man. And to prove that he's better, he fights, what's the guy's name? The rodent or some kind of rat villain who beats up Spider-Man like days before. And he basically just sets out to prove that he is the better Spider-Man. And by the end of it, he's like, I've proven it. I'm done with you. And I'm gone. And he just leaves.
Jeez.
And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen him do, because he actually achieved his goal.
That's cool. I gotta look at that one.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after, because it was it was very weird. Like, and they kind of job Spider-Man out, because after he he digs him back up after like 3 days, and he's like, I've beaten this villain that you couldn't beat. If you can beat him, then you win. And Spider-Man just gets his ass kicked, and Craven's like, okay, I'm done with you. You're no fun anymore.
He's like Vince with his toys.
Exactly. I'll say villain. I could put it there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I always liked him a lot. I'm still waiting interpretation on the movie, the big screen.
Yeah,
but his obsession is like his thrill to hunt, like that drive for him it makes him a different villain, not just the average one. So I like him a lot for that. So I'm fine where he is.
Yeah.
Okay. First appearance in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, number 15, August 1964.
Did I say there's a storyline with Chameleon being his half brother?
Yeah.
This guy keeps popping up everywhere, man.
He does.
Oh, and if you want to know, his eyes are brown as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, man. Did you like him in Spectacular Spider-Man, Noc?
I don't really remember him in that, honestly.
Because they turned him, like, I didn't like how they made him like Spider-Man beats him easy the first time, so he's like, I need to get powers, and he turns himself into like a lion type thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
Like he's fine the way he was, but I would love to. I hope he's in the next Spider-Man game, like a sequel.
I hope so too, man. There's so many villains they can bring to that, and Craven would be one of them for sure. We haven't seen him a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he could pop up sporadically in the game. All of a sudden, you're on a mission, and then you get like shot in the arm or something.
That's true.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
In a way, that does kind of happen, but that'd be true. That'd be nice.
It does. On that though, I remember watching the walkthrough of when that moment comes, like when you get shot. And I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen to me. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And it still fucking happens.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you without saying, another character might get you in the original Spider-Man.
Oh man. Don't tell me. I'm tired of these damn surprises. But all right. Now Craven in the villain category. Next up, we've got Dr. Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, who I have mixed feelings about. I want to like him, but I don't know.
So he got his first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man number 6, November 1963. Growing up as a kid, the library I used to get books from was getting rid of some stuff, and in them was a stack of comics, all beat up, water damage, ripped, whatever. But a handful of them were from the 60s when the Lizard first started out. So I got to get to know him in the 80s from the 60s comics. And I really like the dynamic of one of Peter's teachers being, one of his professors being one of his villains too.
That's true.
But then again, that's the early stages when he first started out. I see some other stuff that involves the Lizard where I'm like, you're reaching.
I think the reason I don't like him is I haven't read that many stories about him, but every time he shows up, like in a game or a movie, anything, it's always the same story of he turns into a lizard, loses his mind, Peter has to cure him. It's the same kind of rinse and repeat. There's never anything like original about it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, like I think the build up for him, like what Zax was like, oh, how he's like one of his professors turned into a villain. I think that's pretty cool. But once they actually pull the trigger on it, I don't think it ever really goes too far. I'm trying to think of some stuff.
Amazing Spider-Man tried, but
yeah.
It's a good case of the Spider-Man universe evolving with a character that didn't need to go past where it was.
Yeah. I do like the idea. They show you sometimes they're like the lizard side still fighting with the human side. Kind of like a two-faced thing. I think it's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Gwen Stacy, Spider-Ghost universe. Peter Parker was the Lizard. That was a good change. Interesting change.
Oh, actually, as I'm seeing it here, so there's a story where, so like I said, with the like the lizard side fighting with the human side, at one point he eats his own kid.
Damn, I know Spectacular Spider-Man flirted with that, but I didn't know he actually did it in the comics.
I think they said it's one of the most controversial Spider-Man stories ever. He eats his kid.
Wow.
He goes full like basic instinct of a reptile.
Damn, I'm gonna have a hard time watching that episode now.
Yeah, that's god damn.
That is nuts.
I give him. I mean, yeah, they pulled the trigger on that. That's something.
Yeah, he might be bottom tier of the villain for me at the end of it.
Yeah, same. I do think he is a villain, a Spider-Man specific villain, because he was a trusted professor. But yeah, I don't see him being anything like super, and I don't think he's like anything like the Chameleon.
Yeah.
There are some storylines where they kind of give that trusted professor angle to Dr. Ock, and
right.
I think that's pretty cool too. I think it might do a little better.
I can't remember if it was Jackal or the first Hobgoblin, but they also have that relationship where they were professor that was trusted. All right. Next up, we've got Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee. Do you guys know how he got his powers?
No.
I have an idea, but I don't know if that's the actual comic way or just from the game.
How did he get in the game? I can't remember.
Do you care if I say anything, Zach or Eric?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched the walkthrough, so I'm good.
So as a child, Osborn and a few other scientists used to do experiments on people, and one of the experiments turned him and gave him his powers.
Okay, so that's actually pretty close to what happened. In the comics, it's not Osborn, it's the Magia with a silver mane. And the same experiment that gave Cloak and Dagger their powers. Those three were the only ones to survive the experiment. And just like the game, he also has it gave him kind of a bipolar personality. Martin Lee, who wants to do good in the world and help it, versus Mr. Negative, who just wants to destroy it.
Yeah. So that's a better, I guess, fight between good and evil and yourself than the Lizard. I really liked him in the game. That's the main thing I've seen him in. I didn't really see him too much in the comics, or I don't think he's in any of the TV shows.
I don't think so.
With what he can do and what I've seen him from in the video game, I gotta give him villain.
I'll go on whatever you guys say on this dude.
I guess I'll give him villain just based on the game, because I've never seen him in a comic or a show.
Yeah.
But his backstory is pretty cool. So someone should really pick him up more often. They should use him more.
Should, man. A little bit of diversity there.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Master of the Arcane Arts and Illusions, Mysterio.
I have mixed feelings about this guy.
Why did you tell us about that?
I hated him as a kid, like watching the shows and comics and whatnot. Like, this dude just does magic. I was like, what is this? Like, he was cool in the movie, but he's not. I don't think he kills anybody really. He's not like that villainy. He just wants to show off, and I think for me, he's just like a public menace, man. He's damn near a good guy sometimes. Like, he likes tricking people cool, but I don't know. What's that villain in My Hero who does that with a little Brava and someone else? Reminds you of that character.
A Gentleman Hero.
Yeah, Gentleman Hero. He's kind of like that to me in opinion. I don't think he's that crazy of a villain to me, from what I saw.
He did. So I think I was looking this up before we recorded, but apparently he faked. So he got a lot of people to hate Spider-Man because he made a fake Spider-Man jump in front of J. Jonah's car. And in order to avoid him, so I guess Jonah didn't want to kill Spider-Man, he swerves into a tree. So a lot of people think that Spider-Man killed Jonah Jameson. But that's like the worst that I've seen him do, really.
Yeah.
He tried to drive Daredevil insane once.
Oh, that's right.
And then when it failed, he killed himself.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so he's like pretty fucking nuts. Growing up, I really liked his character just because on comics it works because it's weird, it's goofy looking, the fishbowl helmet and everything. Yeah, it was cool. I did like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
I liked his Mysterio. And watching that movie, the scenes with Mysterio, I thought were very well done. It felt like I was in a comic book, and it was just like, it's like what I wished the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot could have been like in a dream sequence.
I dig that. I give them props too for going with the drone route. Like, I was very curious how you're gonna Mysterio work like in a modern day setting.
That was smart.
Yeah. Only thing I don't like about him in like today is like any TV show or game he's in, he's basically a tutorial for how to use your spider sense. Like every show, it's always like people just like blinds himself. Like, all right, spider sense. Like, tell me what's real. And it's like, yeah, you could just done that from the beginning. We all know that's how it's gonna end.
There's some disrespect on Mysterio.
Yeah.
Every game they show him out. This guy's not even on the main card.
Oh man, I'll put him in public menace. He's a fun public menace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man, yeah, like if he was on the call, like I had, Octopus is over here doing stuff, Mysterio's over here, Sandman's over here. I'm like, I'll go to Mysterio last. They'll be all right over there.
Oh, I go.
Cops can handle that.
I'm safest with him. I'm going straight to him. I call him.
Yeah.
Oh man. But now we go from fun all the way to just deranged Norman Osborn. To this day, I still don't understand what his hairstyle is.
No.
It's consistent in every single iteration. The Green Goblin, the OG. This man, I don't understand why he hates Peter Parker so much.
Yeah, especially when you talk about like how close they are with Harry, his son, and then him being close to Peter. It's weird.
Yeah. You guys remember the real reason he killed Gwen Stacy?
No.
Because he impregnated her, and
What?
yeah,
Man.
after at some point Gwen leaves New York because she needs a break and think about some things. I think after her dad dies.
Oh man.
She goes to France, and Norman goes to France too, and they have an affair. And they have twins.
What?
This isn't like a side, so this is canonical. This is in the main Spider-Man. This actually happened. Gwen Stacy was not faithful.
I mean, I always knew Gwen
some
wasn't the
daddy
one,
issues.
but damn, I didn't know she did all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did she have the twins, or like she died before she had them?
She had them, and Norman raised them to think that Spider-Man / Peter Parker was a villain, so they both hunted down.
What the fuck?
Or I think he like accelerated their growth or something. It's like they were kids to.
Out of any villain, no one has fucked with Peter Parker the most. Like not just Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the actual person.
Yeah,
this is wild.
And then again, and then the Clone Saga, just all of that, just to fuck with Peter mentally. He faked Aunt May's death. He doesn't go after Spider-Man. He goes for Peter Parker.
Yeah, he's going for the jugular, man. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
What's that one storyline? He becomes like the Iron Patriot.
That's it was after after the whole Skrull invasion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
What's the thing that he leads to?
Sword? No, not sword. Hammer.
Yeah, he's the head of Hammer.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think one of my favorite comics with him was this is when they started to like introduce magic to Spider-Man, and I wasn't a huge fan, but fuck it. He like finds a ritual where you need to take 5 people, and it's random, but each person gets one gift, either strength, immortality, insanity, instant death, or intelligence. And they do the ritual, and Norman like is happy, and he's going crazy. He's like, I got super strength, I'm gonna go kill Spider-Man. And he goes out and he hunts him and he kills him. And then it turns out the entire time he actually got the gift of insanity.
Wow.
Huh.
It is a great read. And that's how we got there was someone who a little girl who was pretending to be Spider-Man because she actually got the gift of power. I have to look up her name later.
Let's see.
I'm probably gonna post these comics to read because they are very worth they're worth checking out.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna check all these out. His first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man number 14 in July of 1964.
Man.
Yeah, it goes without saying he's arch enemy for sure.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to know why they chose a Green Goblin for him. Like that was his alter ego.
Yeah.
But it works. All right. Any last words to say on Norman before we move on?
No, just hell of a villain, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always picture him, like dropping Gwen Stacy and stuff like that. But now I'm like, I don't know, maybe you made me rethink some things about that.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed in Gwen, man. I used to kind of, like her. It was cool. I don't think I watched Spectacular Spider-Man the way anymore.
We're gonna have to take those episodes off the air.
Yeah. Now everyone's gonna be Team MJ after that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we go to the Rhino. I didn't know his name was Alexei. I didn't know he was Russian, but apparently that's what we're going with.
A lot of Spider-Man villains are Russian.
Apparently so. But I think now they're going with the story that he's stuck in his suit. It's permanently bonded to him. He can't take it off, and all he wants is to take it off.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Hey, anything's better than that Paul Giamatti suit.
Yeah.
I was kind of like that when he didn't have the suit, just him being like that big and kind of like a Rhino.
Oh, was that? So he was just like a big guy who dressed like a rhino, or
Actually, was that it? Was it just the costume? I thought it was actually him. Like just be like not actual suit, but like it was.
I
He
can't
was selected for an
remember.
experiment, and he was selected because he was a dummy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
which
about
is
right.
every incarnation of him, he's stupid.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
chemicals and radiation
Okay.
and a good tailor.
um, but whenever he shows up, it's just mass destruction. It's the story of overwhelming strength and how can
Yeah.
Spider-Man stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know he can like. He obviously can't beat the Hulk, but he can hold his own at every now and then. Do you think he compares to like Juggernaut?
I was just wondering that.
I think he's weaker than Juggernaut. I think that
Yeah.
crystal that Juggernaut has is beyond radiation.
Yeah,
So I think he's like the poor man's Juggernaut.
pretty much. Like he's damn near an entry level villain, just super strong. I don't think he ever has a plan. I mean, he's dumb.
No, he's not.
I'm sorry for any Rhino fans out there.
Yeah, I think he just like robs banks and just smashes through them and then just
Yeah.
runs out.
Yeah. His eyes are also brown.
He's borderline bad guy, public menace. I'll put him lower end public menace.
Yeah.
Actually, he might just be a bad guy because I'm looking at that public menace list right there. I know he's stronger than Mysterio, but I don't put him on the same level of villainy as Mysterio.
Yeah, I'll agree with that because I mean, Mysterio's over here making people go insane, and
Yeah.
Rhino's just running in a straight line.
I legit don't think there's any storyline where he did anything like to warrant like being more than a bad guy to me.
Like when he's with the Sinister Six, it's kind of cool, but
Yeah,
It's like a dumb big man being in like a mixed tag match. Like they'll use him for
right.
someone else will get the pin.
Yeah. He's belongs. All right. Next up, we've got. Damn, I've got AEW on the brain. I was gonna say Marco Stunt. Marco.
Oh no.
Something. I don't know his last name. His name is Marco. He is the Sandman. I love this villain, and he goes back and forth, but he had to go on this list. I don't know how he got his powers, but he can shapeshift, he can turn to sand. He's a cool character.
I got William Baker for his name.
What? I didn't get look this up again. But let's go with William Baker.
I really like his connection, like how he's doing it for like his daughter and stuff. But he has some like actual villain stuff going with him too.
That's his alias after he got into crime. Sorry about that, Eric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Flint Marco.
Oh, there we go. Flint Marco.
And he just like a lot of great villains. He was on a beach during military testing.
Of course.
So always surround yourself with something that you'd like to use as a superpower.
Exactly.
Don't be like hanging around a Nerf facility when there's nuclear testing going on.
Yeah, it's hard for me to put him like in the top of the list when his weakness is water, but like he's very powerful. I know he can fight the Hulk. He's like legit villain. He might be what do we have? He might be a super villain.
I'm torn because I've seen him on both ends of the spectrum. He can be a hero or he can be a super villain. It just depends on what day of the week.
Yeah.
Right.
And somehow he's always been a match for Spider-Man. Like it takes everything Spider-Man has to beat him. I
don't know. Like that whole water thing.
Yeah.
Like that weakness kills it for me to not put him in the arc enemy.
Right.
But also, you're right though. Like he does help out. Also, I've seen him help out before.
Right.
And like play that role. So I don't think he could be a super villain.
On a personal level, I want him in super villain, but as we talk about him, he keeps going more and more down. I think I'm at the low end of villain.
Yeah, because like strength wise, he's there for sure. So I wouldn't be mad if putting him in super villain.
Yeah.
I'm fine wherever. I just remember one time, I forgot which comic it was, but he like Venom bit him and his particles split.
Oh.
And he came back washing up on beaches. So then his particles found each other.
Oh man.
But debuted in Amazing Spider-Man #4, September 1963. Again, another 60s era type of comic guy. I don't know. Personally, I think villain, but wherever you guys want.
He killed Uncle Ben in Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah, by accident. Like he was holding the gun and then the guy knocked into him.
Yeah.
That's why you always have your safety's off, kids. Or safety's on. I think villain's okay. I think that's fine.
We got our own Sinister Six in that villain spot.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we've got the Scorpion, as we said, funded by Jonah Jameson to capture Spider-Man. But this is what happens when you give criminals super suits. They go crazy.
Yeah. I really never respected him as a villain. I always felt like he would just get his ass whooped every time I seen him.
Yeah, I feel the same. Don't suck on guns, kids. They'll kill you. But first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man #20, January 1965. He was always, I don't know. He was a cartoony kind of villain for me. No threat.
Yeah, like he needs other people. Like I know he gets his upgrade to his suit, and every time he comes back stronger and stronger. But that's not him. That's just people helping him out, and like he's just like a pod.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really just a right guy, right place. For the Jonah Jameson's like just crazy.
Yeah, Jameson's looking more and more like a villain, man.
Right.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would put him in Public Menace, but then when I look at Mysterio, I can't put him next to Scorpion because I think Mysterio's way better than Scorpion.
Right. I was gonna say I love how in I think it's the Spider-Man game, they mention how Scorpion is suing Jameson for creating him.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's like suing McDonald's for making you fat.
He might just be a bad guy for me, honestly. Like I know being with the Sinister Stick boosts him a little bit, but he's a pawn.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Especially because bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I purposely didn't put like Molten Man on this list because when I was like getting the pictures, I saw him and Scorpion together. I was like, they're kind of the same. They're just two guys who don't really excel at anything. They don't get anything done.
Yeah, he's kind of. I know he was like a private investigator or something. He was like some. Look that up. But I just feel like he's another like Rhino. He's like kind of dumb.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Shocker. I don't know why I love his costume more than any other villain. So when they gave that little nod to it in Spider-Man: Homecoming, that movie got my respect.
Oh yeah, totally. That was nice with that jacket.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. I can't remember anything about him really. So I'm gonna lean on you, Zach. What you got for us about Shocker?
Herman Schultz.
That's right.
Brown eyes again. Damn, Marvel.
Damn.
First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man #46, March 1967. I really liked him growing up, but then when you get bigger villains, he just gets lessened. His stock is so dropped now by so many villains that were created in the 90s and the 2000s that I don't like. If you're talking about making a Spider-Man tutorial, this is who I think would be in the tutorial.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the like not opening, but like first few hour bosses in the Spider-Man game.
Yeah. Which real quick, I was gonna say, if I don't know if you guys ever played like the original like PS2 Spider-Man, but he was my favorite villain to play against because like you have to run through a subway as he's shooting his shockwave.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
it's fun.
I mean, he was basically a safe cracker, and these guns were made to crack safes using vibration. So it's a cool starter villain, but I mean, I don't think I'd put him as a villain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just trying to get a quick buck.
Right.
And I think like he's beaten Spider-Man before, but like he's not going to kill anybody. He just wants to make some money.
Yeah. Check him out in the Spectacular Spider-Man. I think that's his best iteration.
Yeah.
He hired to kill Spider-Man.
Okay. I agree with you. It is a very cool suit. I'll put him in Public Menace for me.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
he's
right.
gonna rob a public place. He's gonna rob a bank or something like that. He's not gonna take over the world.
Yeah, he's just in it for him. All right. Next up, we've got Swarm. Do you guys know anything about Swarm?
No, actually.
So one of Hitler's top scientists. I can't remember the name, but it's very Nazi Germany name, and he escapes after World War II, goes to Brazil, goes all over the world, and studies bees.
Fritz Von Meyer.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And he basically turns himself into his intelligence controls all the bees, and his body is just made up of them.
Come on. First appearance in the Champions number 14, July 1977.
I mainly put them on this because I didn't know if we'd have any for annoying. But to show how much of a jobber he is, like he jobs out to like the Avengers like regularly, like other heroes, and he gets around. He loses a lot.
When he first faced the Thunderbolts, Venom devoured his skeleton. This is, however, unlikely to prevent his return. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm snoozing on this guy, man. He's got nothing going for me. I'm not afraid. I'm not seeing nothing.
It's just for the tagline, Nazi bees. That's the most notable thing about this person.
That's gonna be Sci-Fi's next summer movie.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. Sorry,
I'll say annoying.
Yeah, agreed.
100%.
Oh man. All right, we're down to the final three. We've got Tombstone. Another not as much of a throwback as Hammerhead, but he's a street tough gangster. He's got super strength. His skin is a little endurable, and I have not got to read him in the comics, but boy, they made him amazing and Spectacular Spider-Man. Anytime Keith David voices a character, you know it's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
He doesn't feel pain, so he's got that thing going for him too. I actually just like him as a villain. Like I enjoy watching him. He's not I don't think he's an entry level villain either. I wouldn't call him that. He's a little above that. He organizes a lot of stuff. He hires people. I don't know if he's quite yet villain. I mean, would you put him as villain, Eric?
Honestly, I was thinking bad guy.
Bad guy.
I mean, because if I'm taking, I don't want to just go by the cartoon. If I'm going by that, I'm going villain.
Yeah.
But I haven't read anything where he does like. I think usually like I've seen him whenever they have like a gang war. Whenever Kingpin goes away, he's one of the players in there.
I know he killed Kingpin before.
Oh, okay,
really?
That bumps him up.
I'm trying to. I don't know what year that was. I read.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, like when Kingpin goes away, he's like the next guy up, pretty much. And I do like him in the video game. He doesn't have a big role in the video game, but he has a pretty good one.
First debuted in Web of Spider-Man number 36, March 1988.
I could see him in Public Menace. I could see him there.
Yeah, I could see him Public Menace. Public Menace, but like waiting for his turn to get to that next level.
Yeah.
He did almost beat Spider-Man to death one time.
Oh.
That's true. He's a very good hand-to-hand fighter. Yeah, when you use him right, he's a great character. He's very interesting.
Yeah. So I'll go Public Menace. That's fine. Even though he beat the shit out of Shocker, man.
I think any of us could beat the shit out of Shocker.
I might have to drop Shocker.
Oh man. What, the bad guy?
He's borderline there, man. Because I'm looking at Tombstone on there. Something don't add up to me.
You know what? I think we could drop him down the bad guy, because I look at Rhino and Scorpion. I'm like, yeah, I could see that.
He was in another group too. I'll try to think of it while we move on.
The Sinister Six looks like a bunch of jobbers, man.
Was it the three? They might have done it in the Spectacular thing too, where he's like three other Southerners. I can't remember, but we'll look it up. We'll get it later. All right. Next up, we're talking Eddie Brock's Venom. We're not talking Flash Thompson. We're not talking
good.
We're going OG Venom.
Harry Osborn.
That's right. Straight up, he goes to arch enemy before anything else happens. He's the other side of the coin. But do you guys have any memories of Venom? Anything?
I have a lot, just because I grew up when he came out, and it was just like the coolest thing you could see. I still have the Venom miniseries that was kind of the basis for this first Venom movie. It's not the best story, but it was still kind of cool. Venom basically helps a bunch of homeless people who are in trouble because someone. It's basically the movie, kind of. But I just like, I actually have the Secret Wars comic too, where Spidey gets the black suit.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, he basically wishes for a new suit. Like I forgot who they do battle. Their suit gets damaged. They can just kind of generate a new suit. He gets the black suit, and it just, it amps up his powers and everything. And it's just like the only suit that wasn't like the suit that they just got. So he comes to Earth with it. It does basically, if you watch Spider-Man 3, it's kind of that without the dancing.
Did you know what's his name? So I never knew this. I need to actually find the comic, but I read up that apparently Deadpool was also in Secret Wars, but they Wasp erased him from everyone's memory. And a few minutes before Spider-Man walked in and got the suit, Deadpool had it, but he took it off because he didn't want to corrupt the symbiote. So if he held on to it,
I gotta look at that, because part of me doesn't think that makes sense.
I if you do find something that this person, please do, because I was doing research a couple episodes ago. I read up on that, but I can't find the actual comic.
Because it was created with Peter's imagination. That's how you do it. You go in there and you imagine your suit being fixed, and that's how it gets put together. And this thing just gave him the black suit.
But didn't he actually go to the wrong machine? Because I remember, I think he went to the wrong machine in the Secret Wars.
I'll go and dig out the comics later, and I'll figure it out.
Okay.
And if someone wants to just start correcting us in the comments, go ahead.
Please do. But yeah, that's how it makes its way to Eddie Brock. And is he ever really a villain as Venom? Is he ever like a true?
Not to the level of Carnage I've ever seen, but
no, because Eddie Brock mainly it's kind of like how it was in the 90s cartoon. It feeds upon his hatred of Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, would you guys still put him in arch enemy where he is right now?
I'd still too, because like, I mean, I know Norman Osborn's like the guy, but growing up, I always thought like it was Spider-Man Venom. Like that was always the matchup I wanted to see. That was always like the villain I loved the most. He was my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he has that, and especially since he was attached to Peter Parker, and has all his like thoughts and stuff. That's a personal connection to be arch enemy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, he's perfect where he is right now.
Yep. And then of course you gotta, milk it till it's dry. You gotta create stuff like anti-venom and all that kind of shit. But
yeah,
I'll take the original Venom any day. Are you guys interested at all in the the planet of the symbiotes and Null the Conqueror and all that shit that they're doing in Marvel right now?
I haven't been, but is there a reason for me to?
I think it's ridiculous personally, that there was this planet of symbiotes to begin with, that this thing got manifested the way it did in Secret Wars, and that's where it came from. I haven't read the whole thing just because none of it's really like grabbed onto me, but Null looks ridiculous, and I don't know. It's instead of creating something new, you are using something old again in comics, and it's just not working for me.
Yeah, didn't work in the movie either.
Yeah, I kind of fell out of love with the whole symbiote thing because there's so many of them. So it's hard to keep track. All right. So we're going to go with Venom and Arch Enemy. And last but not least, we have the Vulture, the second person Spider-Man ever fought. A very a nice entryway villain. Did you guys ever take Vulture seriously when he was in this costume, when he was doing this?
No.
I always thought I missed something as a kid. Like I missed a storyline or something that like made him so I don't know. I couldn't really get with him.
Yeah, I always felt like he was just like old and decrepit and like about to break down on his own. Like I was never a Vulture fan.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice for them to like for someone that old to suddenly break into crime and do so with such a weird suit.
Did you like him in the movie?
I liked Adrian Toomes, like the character, but I have this weird thing. Like I feel like the Vulture suit should be agile and like small, not like that huge ass over cumbersome thing that he was wearing in the movie. So I didn't like the actual wings.
Yeah, I felt the same. I felt the exact same. I was fine with the helmet. The bomber jacket was fine, but those wings were huge.
Yeah.
Like that's why he's all worn down. He's got to carry that shit on his back.
Exactly. Because like Adrian Toomes, like in the comics, like he's like this smart inventor who makes like this revolutionary thing. In the movie, well, I stole these wings. They're big as fuck, but you know what you gonna do? I'll say I'll give him bad guy. He's a great like entry villain for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'll say the same. During Civil War, S.H.I.E.L.D. sent the Vulture to capture the rogue Spider-Man, but he suffered a stroke in the middle of their battle.
Oh my god!
Why would you say that?
It must have been real slim pickings, huh?
Yeah,
man.
Like,
First appeared. Go ahead.
Like you're fucking Nick, like whoever's in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time, and you're like, okay, so we know that you've lost to Spider-Man a shit ton of times. We know you're not getting younger every day. How about you go try again?
The Vulture. It must not have been that important, man. I'll send Squirrel Girl before him.
It's like when you let old people drive just one more year so you don't take their freedom away. He first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Number 2, May 1963.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm making like a Marvel Suicide Squad, he's not on the list. He's not getting the call.
No.
You have to wheel him to the fucking scene.
Right. Oh man. Well, that's the list. Like I said, we're not gonna just keep it to one person, arch enemy, but is there anyone that you guys think should be moved? Anyone that you would?
As I'm looking, I think Carnage has to be in that arch enemy spot. It's hard not to put him, especially when Venom and Spider-Man have to team up to take him out.
I will say this, Maximum Carnage, the reason that story was so menacing for Spider-Man was because of Shriek, Hobgoblin, a whole bunch of other villains. Man, it is kind of hard to argue.
Right. I'd be cool with it. I could see it.
It's like the only time.
It's almost like whenever he shows up, like Peter Parker's like world gets like dark as fuck. Like it's like flipping a light switch.
Man, that arch enemy list is looking crazy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to put your boss on your arch enemy list.
Is there any other hero that has this many arch enemies, or even more than one? I can't really think of.
That'd be Batman for sure.
man.
The Flash has a lot of villains, but I feel like his villains aren't that strong.
Right.
Maybe
Mhm.
Superman with like Brainiac, like if you count like Zod and a few other guys.
Yeah, Luther.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. There's power of being rich.
Yeah,
and
Luther.
Slightly above human intelligence.
Mhm.
But not too many people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's our list. So actually at the end, that's it. That's all we got. I didn't include her, but since you brought her up, Zach, do you think Shriek, where would you put her in your own personal opinion? Because I almost put her, but
I would put her in villain.
okay.
I think she's tough to fight and everything, and she's like a lesser version of Carnage, but I feel she's a manageable one.
Okay. All right, well, that's cool. So for those of you watching at home, Shriek, imaginary, right into villain. But that's our list. Thank you guys for watching. Any last words before we go, guys?
Thanks for supporting the channel, man. I appreciate it. We're up to 119 subs today. That's really cool. So thank you guys, and we'll keep pumping out the videos.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Tiger.
And if you haven't yet, check out Noc's Black History. Well, it wasn't made for History Month. We made it last year, but champions in professional wrestling who are black. It's a great video. Almost at 1,000.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Peace.